Hello and welcome to Culture Shark, a live stream about all things pop culture. I'm Final Monkey,
And I'm Caleb.
and this month we are continuing to celebrate Superman and maybe a little bit of Fantastic Four. We'll see. But this month we are looking at two stories. One of them being Superman Year One by Frank Miller and John Romita Jr. And then Caleb has not read this, so all this will be brand new to him. And then Caleb, what are you reading for us or talking about?
Oh, I thought I was reading Romita. I've read both.
Oh, you read both.
I mean, I've read both before.
Oh, okay. I didn't know you had read Year One.
No, I hadn't, but I read it this week.
My brain hurts, Caleb. Okay.
So hold on.
Continue.
Which one did you read this week?
I read Superman Year One. I have not read Birthright at all. I have
Oh,
access to Birthright.
gotcha. Well, I had never read your one, so I read that one, and then okay, this will be so. Fun fact: I didn't read Birthright this week because I thought I was reading Year One. But I have read Birthright before, so I am ready. I was ready to talk about it anyway, so it'll be fine.
Oh, we are off to an awesome start today. So yeah, Year One. I saw this at the library, and I was like, "What in the world is this?" Because I'd never heard of it. And even after reading it, I didn't quite realize that this was not Year One for our Superman. This is Year One of the Dark Knight Returns Superman, is what this is.
Yeah. I So I have a question for you.
Uh huh.
Do you enjoy this? Do you think this is funny? Like, how dare you? I mean, you didn't make me read this, but
I did. I was not making you read this. I thought you
I
were just
know,
going to read Birthright.
I know. But yeah, how dare you? Uh, this okay. So here's the thing. Um, More and more, I think I'm starting to realize that I don't know like how this goes, but Superman's not like my favorite character, but I'm the most protective of Superman, if that makes sense.
Uh huh.
Like so I watch The Boys. I am not a fan of The Boys. I
Uh huh.
watch it for the I watch it for the culture. I watch it to get so I can talk about it with people, but I don't exactly like it. When it comes to something like Invincible, to me, Omni Man is not Superman. Mark is Superman. Injustice, I play for the gameplay because the gameplay is really good. I don't care for that Superman. One of my least favorite movies of all time, actually involving James Gunn. I can't remember if he wrote it or just produced it. Is Brightburn, which is What If Superman Was a Bad Guy, and I hate that movie. So I can't say that Superman's my favorite comic book character of all time, but I'm the most protective of him. So whenever someone gets Superman wrong or tries to do something weird, it just pisses me off.
So I was all ready to surprise you. Like, guess what? Superman joins the Navy, but you already read this. So here we go.
Yeah. Whew.
So so this is Superman Year One is basically broke into three issues. And it's not even a year; it's different years in his
It's
life.
25 years.
Superman years 1 through 25, and each issue is kind of a different love of his life. So issue 1 is Lana, issue 2 is Lori Lamaris, I think is her name, and issue
Yes.
3 is Lois Lane, who is hardly in the book at all. So
Well, if you so how familiar are you with the Dark Knight Returns Superman as like
I have read Dark
like
Knight Returns. I have read Dark Knight Strikes Again.
okay, so he actually never gets like he never actually like gets with Lois in this universe, which is a choice.
Okay, I did not
Yeah.
realize that.
Yeah.
Um,
He's with Wonder Woman in Strikes
well,
Again.
yeah, I know he's with Wonder Woman because they blow up the mountains and they have a baby and or a daughter and all that weird stuff.
Well,
Um,
I mean, not just that. Every time, this is the okay. He's so weird. So every time they do the dirty, she gets pregnant. Every time. Like
every time.
that's the thing. Like there's a line in Strikes Again where they do the dirty, it's over, and then she says, "I'm pregnant again."
Um, so when I was reading this, I did not, like I said, I did not realize it was Dark Knight Returns universe until the GD Batman showed up in issue 3.
Oh yes, Crazy Steve.
And so I will say this. I don't think issue 1 is terrible. It's not great, but it's not terrible. It's just, how would Superboy deal with bullies without killing them? And I kind of think
Yeah,
I think some of it is fun where it's like, what was, neighbors like, what's that food by? Oh, I think it was that Kent boy. Like the neighbors kind of know,
that's like
which is kind of funny.
that is the one thing I like about this book is that we don't shy around the fact that everyone in Smallville knows that he's Superman.
Yeah. But I think the Kent dialogue is really weird. I think I'll say this. I don't.
I can tell you why.
Why is that?
So, did you catch the? I mean, I can't remember specifically how it's laid out, but Clark hypnotizes them.
What?
Did you?
Okay, apparently I missed a lot of this when I read this like 3 weeks ago, so it's a little bit of a blur in my brain.
Did you? Oh my god, I hate it so much. Okay, so he crash lands on Earth, and the rocket burrows into the Earth. So a baby Kal-El has to break open his rocket ship and dig himself out, which already stupid. I hate it. And then it's just John that's there. So Martha's at home.
I see the panel now.
Yeah. And so John picks him up, and it like pierces through his eyes, and he hypnotizes him into taking him home. and then John takes him home to Martha. Martha's like, "Hi, honey, I made dinner." And then John's like, "Honey, we have a baby now." And she's like, "We have a baby, let me see." And then she's hypnotized.
I see it. Yeah, I totally missed it. I was probably distracted reading this. Missed it.
No, I because we can't fathom that there are good people in the world, okay? We have to hypnotize people to take care of a baby.
I still think this is a better Paul Kent than Man of Steel Paul Kent, though.
Well, okay, so
okay, I think you broke up because I'm not hearing you now.
I hate this Paul Kent equally, but it's because it swings the other way. It's the weirdest thing. This is like if someone swung all the way to the other side with Man of Steel, you know, like
okay.
like.
So I went and saw Superman yesterday, and I was leaving the theater, and one of the attendants, there to clean the theater, was like, "Did you like it?" I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "Was it better than Man of Steel?" And I was like, "Oh," I was like, "No." I mean, I was like, "Yeah," because Man of Steel sucks.
No, Now,
I was like, get me out of here before I start bashing Last
yeah.
Jedi and everything else.
Now, keep in mind when I say all this, I kind of like Man of Steel. Like
It
it's not a
has its moments, but I was
yeah.
so frustrated with that movie.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. Um, I mean, I here's the thing. I can watch Man of Steel. Um, I think this is worse. This book is worse than Man of Steel. I think this is Frank Miller's worst work ever. This sucks. Okay, like
I,
this
I
this pisses me. No, this pisses me off. I'm not even joking. Like All Star Batman is at least funny. Holy Terror is funny. This just pisses me off.
I think this book is boring at times. It's just boring. There's,
Oh yeah.
I think the bully thing is interesting. I think the idea of putting him in the military is interesting, and then the
Mm.
rest of it's just everything's boring.
So, um, so the bully thing, I was kind of okay with until they became like a 14-year-old mafia.
Yeah, they were like they were just they did not, usually it's like, oh, you just hit the big one in the nose, they'll back off, and it turned into no, we're gonna kill everybody in the town. Basically,
Yeah,
we're just
and we're going to assault Lana and
yeah.
kill her, like, and then uh the thing about this Superman that I think is funny, but I also like it's funny, but I hate it.
Oh.
Um, is the fact that he is constantly abandoning people. Um,
Yeah, we'll get to that. Yes, that was
well,
one of my issues also.
well, the thing is, it doesn't start with Lana though. It actually starts with his friends, because the whole point of the bully thing is because he's trying to help his friends. But the thing is once he starts teaming up with Lana, saves her life, they do the dirty. Those friends never show up again. He's got a girlfriend now.
Well, I mean that's kind of how real life is.
It 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 is, but like it's as if they never existed.
Yeah. Um.
Honestly, it probably wouldn't bother me as much if it didn't keep happening.
I think. Yeah. So I'm wondering now: is Lana pregnant? Is Lori? Now that you've said that, I'm wondering.
Oh,
Um. So
Lori has like 30 kids with Superman.
did I? Okay. Hold on. We'll get to Lori here in a minute, and I may have to reread this book.
No,
Um.
don't do it.
Um. There is a football game that they play in Smallville, and Clark decides he's going to showboat and win it all.
Which
I
is
thought that
funny.
I thought that was kind of an interesting choice too.
It's an interesting choice because he goes from like beating up the dicks to being a dick. Like,
Yeah, yeah. And I like Jonathan's face in the crowd, like
mm,
So,
yeah,
uh,
and there's one thing that I have a problem with is like, so Jonathan is kind of a caricature. So is Martha,
mhm,
because like she's like, there's no such thing as bad people. They're just confused.
mhm.
And like, obviously not, but at the same time, I could also see why that's where Clark's naivety comes from.
Yeah.
Uh, but like, we're just throwing her under the bus. Oh my gosh, Martha's an idiot. The book says she's an idiot. Like, I don't, I don't know.
All right. So Clark leaves Smallville at the end of issue 1 to join the Navy because, that's the classic part of the Superman lore.
Yeah.
What is the huge problem with Superman joining the Navy?
The
Major plot hole.
uh major that I don't know if we're thinking the same thing. My problem with him joining the Navy is just seeing him at a gun range with a handgun just feels weird. That's my
Uh,
thing.
my thing is, how did he get into the Navy or boot camp in the first place? Because they
Oh,
are going to do a physical.
right, and a
How are they
background
going
check.
to pierce his skin with needles to draw blood?
Um, and you know what's a weird thing?
Yeah.
They they kind of bring that up, but not exactly that. The way they bring that up is how it was
Mm.
difficult for them to cut his hair into a buzz cut because his hair was so strong.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
They
so
keep breaking the razors, but it's like,
it's not like he didn't think of it. We just ignore the hard part.
but I have a friend who was in the Navy, and he's like, "We got so many immunization shots," and I'm like, "Yeah, it's not gonna." He didn't get any, So I, it's just, to me, that was just a glaring plot hole. So anyhow, that was my issue with the book. That was my one issue with the series. I ignored
um,
all the other troublesome stuff.
yeah, I don't know. Like, it's one of those things where I guess I just have I have an issue with I don't know. Maybe I know truth, justice, and the American way, right?
Uh-huh.
But there's something about like being literal with that and Superman joining the United States military that just doesn't sit right with me. And I don't know if that's just a me thing.
It's weird because so one of the themes in the movie you've seen from the commercials is that Superman is interfering with global conflicts between nations. And is he acting for the United States? Is he acting? He's like, no, I'm just saving lives. It's what I do. And so yeah, for him to actually be a soldier being trained by the United States to kill people and whatnot it is odd.
Yeah.
And
And
I think what he is trying to do is, in Dark Knight Returns, Superman is like he's almost like a puppet for Reagan, the president, and Dark Knight Returns, where he's like,
yeah.
"Hey, we need you to go do this and that and whatever." So he's kind of setting up here that he's been, trained to obey orders and stuff.
Oh, you know what else is really funny? So Miller has always said that the way he wrote Superman
Hmm.
in The Dark Knight Returns was purely from the eyes of Batman. And so that's why he doesn't entirely act like Superman, is because that's how Batman views him. And I call BS because his is the same character. Oh my god.
Yeah.
It's this I've always said I'm really interested to see what happens if Frank Miller were to write Captain America, because whenever he wrote Captain America in Born Again, it was from the eyes of Daredevil.
Hmm.
Now I don't believe him. I think that's just I think that's just how he would write Captain America.
Yeah, it's yeah. So let's get to where this book gets really problematic. While they're on the naval base, um, one of the sergeants or whatever says, "Hey, there's mermaids out there, and we lose soldiers. I'll just wander off into the sea and drown trying to get to the mermaids and stuff."
And then Superman's like, "Did you say mermaids?" And then he heads straight to them because
He-
mermaids are hot.
He's like, "Yeah, let's go." And so I get that this is part of Silver Age comics. Lori Lamaris, whatever her name is. But this is weird.
Yeah.
it's it's Superman's like, I'm just gonna go live under the sea, and and so he gets kicked out of the Navy because he starts a fight. Well, he doesn't really start a fight on offshore leave, but he's involved in a fight, and then while on a mission, he refuses to kill anybody, which is kind of weird because he's still kind of in boot camp, but now he's on missions to go kill people. I don't know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And because he won't take the kill shot, and he lies about he grabs a grenade and it blows up in his hands. It doesn't kill, like he saves everybody, but he lies about it. They drum him out of the military. So he's like, okay, well, I'm just gonna go live under the sea. Bye. And you're like, what?
Oh,
What is
also keeping in mind, he told he told his mother, "I'll be back. Don't worry." He told So before he leaves for boot camp, he has one final night of shabunking with Lana. And then as he's leaving, he looks at her with his supervision from miles away, and she's holding up a sign like Taylor Swift that says, "I love you, I miss you." And he's like, "Don't worry, I'll be back." And then he goes and lives with fish. He goes
not
and
only
falls in love with a fish.
not only does he fall in love with a fish, he's just constantly making out with or whatever. He she takes him to meet her father, Poseidon, and Poseidon's like, "No, he cannot marry you and be king, because I want to marry you and make you my queen."
Yeah,
What? What?
yeah,
What? What?
that's right. You remember the SpongeBob movie where Neptune is gonna talk to his daughter, Fish Scarlett Johansson, and be like, "I'm gonna get my crown back. I'm not bald, and you're marrying me."
Remember when Ariel and King Triton were, remember all
Yeah,
that with Prince Eric and all that?
yeah.
Prince Eric couldn't marry Ariel because, that was Tritons.
Oh my gosh.
What?
Yeah. Honestly, and here's the thing.
Am I
Everything
reading an Alan Moore story? What is this?
it is all so weird. It is so weird that you forget that Aquaman is not in the story.
Yeah, he's not in the story. Yeah.
That we are in Atlantis and Aquaman is nowhere to be seen, but you don't notice because of how weird it is. It's like, I mean,
I've read a lot of weird DC this week. I've been reading Flash by Mark Waid, and I was reading Flash Year One about Wally West, and he's constantly just talking about Iris West, his aunt. I love her. She's my best friend. I love her. I love her. I love her. I was like, what is going on in this book? It
this
was
okay.
very strange.
This okay. This settles it. I am getting DC Universe. You are not allowed to pick anything. I am picking everything.
I did not tell you to read this. I said I read this, and I'm going to tell you about it. But no, you ruined all my fun.
Well,
Uh,
I thought that you wanted, because I'd already read Birthright. I thought you wanted me to read something I'd never read before. That's why I was confused.
no, we gotta work on our communication skills. It's all right. So he says at the end of issue 2, I could live here forever with her underwater.
With all 30 of our kids.
And then right away at the beginning of issue 3, he sees a submarine of Lois Lane that's crashing, and he's like, I'm gonna rescue her. And we never mentioned the mermaids again.
Yep.
They're just gone.
He goes out to get milk.
Weird.
He leaves his fish kids to go get cigarettes. Oh my god.
And he's just like, Lois is the one for me. Bye. And
Yeah.
and so then he has a confrontation with the Navy SEALs that he was training with, and he just, beats them all up. And I don't know.
And then he goes to college.
Yeah, then he's like, I'm going to college. Bye.
Which is funny because previously, whenever he decides to join the Navy SEALs, Pa Kent's like, we saved up all this money. You're not going to go to college? He's like, I don't need college. You guys just take the money yourselves. Which then begs the question, did he go back home and be like, hey, remember what I said, just take the money yourselves? I'm going to need that so I can go to college?
I mean, Superman really doesn't need money. He can just go make diamonds and stuff, so anyhow.
Don't defend this book. Don't try to make sense.
So he ends up in Metropolis, and he starts saving people, and he comes up with his Clark Kent disguise and gets a job at the Daily Planet.
There's one thing that like it's more than one thing that bothers me. Did you remember that line where he says, "I'm not going to concern myself with stopping fires or saving like cats from trees. I'm going to focus on the big picture stuff." I didn't like that at all. Like that's I don't.
I don't remember that line, but yeah, like I said, I read it 3 weeks ago. It's been a while, but yeah, he starts. This is the other thing that I think it gets pointed out in Spider-Man sometimes. Like he just wraps up all these criminals and just puts signs on them saying, "Hey, I'm a burglar, I'm an arsonist, I'm a whatever," and just drops them off at the cops. Well, if the cops have no evidence, they can't just arrest people because Superman said blah blah blah. It's like he's gonna sit there and testify, you know. So, I think there's an issue with Spider-Man. They're like, "Yeah, you've been webbing up all these guys. We have no evidence to hold them. What do you want us to do with these people?" You know. So yeah, it's yeah. Um, so then Lex decides to manipulate everything. He fakes a hostage situation, and Lois is flying around in a helicopter all over the place, and Superman's flying around saving people, whatnot. So he meets up with Lex, and Lex like teams up with Superman, but he's lying to him, and basically he's trying to deal with two problems at one time, make Superman and Batman fight each other. And then the GD Batman shows up, and he blows up one of Lex's ships full of weapons. So Lex is really mad, and so he sends Superman out there. And Joker does some stuff with drugs. I don't know, whatever. And so we get the initial confrontation between Batman and Superman, and we get Batman using all his little tricks against Superman and realizing, oh, I can't, nothing works on him, so I'm going to figure out stuff that'll work on him, which we'll later see in Dark Knight Returns. So they have like their preliminary fight, and then just as the fight's kind of getting interesting, just Wonder Woman shows up. It's like, hey, y'all stop it. I was like, okay. And they just stop, and this book feels really rushed towards the end because it's like, let's go tie up Lex with the lasso of truth, and he's like, it's Brainiac. Brainiac's out there with the city of Kandor. Superman's like, bye. I gotta go deal with this. The end. It's really weird.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Superman Year One. Did it add or anything to the story? I was trying to think of how to describe this book. I think it's an interesting curiosity. It is not essential reading by any measure, only if you're like a Dark Knight Returns completionist that wants to read everything involved with Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah, one of you freaks.
Like I'll read like the Dark Knight, like I'll read the summaries on the Dark Knight Returns sequels just out of curiosity, just kind of like, okay, where's he taking the story now? But
here's the thing. I understand that people like to hold up the Dark Knight Returns as one of the greatest comic books. The more we add to it, the more I hate it retroactively.
Yeah. We're just constantly ruining it. It's just
oh man. So here's the thing. I want to say one thing, and this might just be me. Like, I don't think I've been loud, but I don't think I've been unjustly mean. this one might be unjustly mean, so let me know. um,
I kind of read through this while doing a bunch of other stuff, so I didn't realize how bad it was. So I went back to re-review it last night. And I was like, "Oh, this is really bad."
yeah. um,
Sometimes I'm just into the story, just reading it, not really thinking about it, and then
yeah.
afterwards I'm like, "Ooh, those were some odd
Yeah.
choices."
So my, you know what? I'll phrase this in the this is in the shape of a question. Um, is Romita Jr.'s art always this bad?
I actually thought this was some of his better art because some of his other art
Really?
recently is just terrible.
Really? Okay.
He's gotten a lot worse. This is actually decent John Romita Jr. art.
Okay. Because like there, I mean, there were some proportions problems, like with like it. You know how people say like Liefeld can't draw feet? I don't think that Romita can draw arms or torsos. Um, there's like inconsistency with like the symbol, because sometimes it's as big as his chest, sometimes it's like a little pendant on a necklace, depending on the way it looks. Yeah, that, like I said, that maybe I'm unjustly mean. What is that?
That's John Romita Jr.
Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and be mean. He gets work because of his dad, right?
Oh yeah, yeah,
like,
definitely.
like he's not a good artist.
He has some decent, like his Uncanny X-Men stuff back in the day of Claremont is
Yeah, that's true.
legendary. Um, but yeah, you remember like after the Clone Saga when they like remember like Spider-Man: The Lost Years when he
Hmm.
did all the art for that. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if he's never been like one of my favorite artists. I'm trying to find an image real quick of him.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, it's definitely like, oh yeah, your dad was John Romita. Here, you can draw whatever your name. You have Romita as a name, and uh, um, yeah, check out this art. Isn't that great?
God. Hmm.
So yeah, John Romita, everybody. All right. So let's talk about what I presume, because I have not read it, a decent, maybe even classic Superman story.
Well.
And maybe not. I don't know. I don't know what I'm about to get into.
Okay.
I just hear
So,
this one thrown around quite a bit. When like,
um,
like for all seasons, All Star, whatever happened to Man Tomorrow, the classics, and I'll hear this one get thrown around.
I would say, because so there was a point, and I think this would be very interesting for us to do. So I think this might be something we can do next year if it's something that interests you. Um, there was a point where I went through and I read through what I thought, because I missed year one in my original passing. That, or it wasn't out yet. I can't remember when I did this. Um, but every Superman origin.
Okay.
Um, and so but when I read Birthright,
And I was going to say real quick, for those who don't know, DC Comics loves rebooting their continuity, and so
yes.
there's a lot of different versions of it.
Oh, I'll get to the origin of Birthright. It's really funny. um, so, uh, when it comes to Superman origins, Birthright for me is kind of in the middle. Like
Okay.
it's not horrible, but it doesn't do anything that you haven't seen before, even at the time. Um, this really is like. Do you ever see uh, the the Psycho remake that's like frame for frame, panel for panel with Vince Vaughn.
I've never actually watched it, but I do know of it, and I've seen clips of it.
Yeah, so it's not horrible because it's just Psycho.
Yeah.
So I mean, this is kind of just Man of Steel, John Byrne's Man
Okay.
of Steel. Um, so the origin of Birthright. This is where it gets funny. It's Mark Waid, and it was written out of continuity. And then they decide, you know what? This is a modernized version, because at the time, John Byrne's Man of Steel was still the post-crisis on Infinite Earths origin of Superman. They decide, you know what, we're gonna do Birthright. That's it. Well, actually, we're gonna do Birthright. It's out of continuity. Then they decide, you know what, people kind of like this. Let's make it in continuity. And then a year later, after they say that, Infinite Crisis comes out. And after Infinite Crisis, they say, well, there's a new origin for Superman, but we're not going to show that origin for 3 years. And that would eventually be Jeff Johns. Superman Secret Origins. So Superman Birthright was DC canon for about a year. So, yeah, my biggest complaint with Birthright is this is 12 issues, and it doesn't need to be. This could be 6 issues and it'd be fine. This is stretched really, really thin. And there are 2 issues that seem like it's gonna be super cool, but with what the book ends up becoming, you kind of don't need those issues. So issues 2 and 3, I believe, because the first issue is kind of him in Smallville, and just doing that whole thing. Issues 2 and 3 are whenever he is in his early to mid 20s. He is a freelancer. He doesn't work for the Daily Planet yet. He is a freelance journalist who goes on a missions trip to Africa with the ulterior motive of interviewing like a political leader and activist, and becomes friends with him, and gets this really big scoop on this political leader. Eventually, that political leader is assassinated, and then the younger sister, discovers that he has these superpowers, and then becomes a key political figure in this African revolution that was started by her brother. So all of this is super interesting. And he uses this because, people are like, man, this guy Clark Kent, he is the guy. He knows how to get these hard-hitting interviews. And so that's why they hire him at the Daily Planet. And then that's never brought up again. That's not what the book's about. It's so weird, because so for if we're shortening if we're shortening the book to what it could be, those 2 issues are really good, but they don't need to be here because it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Then after all that is whenever he unearths the ship that brought him to Earth. He learns his history, the Kryptonian heritage, and Martha presents a costume to Clark. I made this out of your clothing and what you were wrapped in. I will say one thing. Going back to year one, that scene was kind of funny. Whenever she presents him with the costume, was like, "Yeah, this broke my sewing machine." Like that's kind of funny. I'll give Miller that. But yeah, so in Birthright, she gives that to him. And then Jonathan and Martha decide that if he's gonna, because I guess in a way uh, the Africa thing matters because that's what kind of got him to be like, well, I need to help people because my friend was assassinated. And I saved more people during the attack. And so if he's going to do this, Jonathan and Martha help Clark kind of develop the identity of Clark Kent that we would eventually know. And then he gets his Daily Planet position, and immediately Lois falls head over heels for him because of his reputation.
For Clark's reputation?
Yeah.
Okay.
Clark's reputation like the whole Africa thing. Like I said, the whole Africa thing, it doesn't necessarily matter in the long run because that's not what the book is about. But it's how he gets his opportunities. And then he would eventually get a scoop with Lex Luthor. And Lex is interesting because in this story he is excuse me, he's kind of endorsing Superman while behind the scenes attempting to destroy his reputation. And the way he is talking with Clark in this interview kind of throws Clark off because Clark's like, how can he not remember me? We grew up together. And then we have flashbacks to Smallville where it turns out that this is also a Smallville adaptation where Clark and Lex were best friends back in the day. And Lex is so interesting, or at least he could have been interesting, because they really go forward with how like Lex at this point is like, businessman, billionaire mogul, that thing. When in some adaptations and even the original adaptation, he was like this mad scientist.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of more like that in this, where there is a possibility of parallels between Clark and Lex, because Clark kind of has this he has this detachment from humanity because he is so far above them, even though he desperately wants to connect with people.
Mm-hmm.
And Lex has the same thing because Lex is so smart, but he's just an a-hole about it. Where he's like, why can't people see the world the way I do?
Right.
But like it doesn't go anywhere. That's kind of the end of it. With it, like that's like, oh man, that could have been an interesting thing we could have explored. And then we discover that Lex does remember Clark. He just chooses to pretend like he doesn't remember him because he doesn't want to think about he doesn't want to think about that time in his life, because, and this is another thing, this is another way it gets weird. um, Lex lost his father, Lionel, after he built a wormhole and it
Okay.
malfunctioned. And it malfunctioned and exploded. It killed Lionel Luthor, and it made him go bald.
Isn't because that's like classic Silver Age continuity that his experiments made him bald, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Which is interesting, but we also, it's like the book kind of treats it like the loss of his father and the loss of his hair are like the same tragedy.
They're unequal, equal tragedies, yeah.
Yeah. So Luthor decides that he's pretending like he doesn't remember Clark because he doesn't want to think about it. And so then he engineers a fake invasion of Kryptonians. So like he comes up with like these super powered people, quote unquote, um, and they start uh, they start destroying Metropolis. Superman goes in and stops him, and then they were able to expose Luthor for his treachery, and how he's trying to make Superman look bad. And then they find out that there's in the final seconds of this battle, and they're taking Luthor away. Superman discovers that there's a computer that Luthor has that has made contact with a Krypton pre-destruction. And so this is where it gets weird. I don't know if they're saying that Krypton hasn't been destroyed yet. But it's like he's able to let his parents know that he's made it. Jor and Lara realize that he's survived, and they hug each other as Krypton explodes.
Okay.
And that's how the book ends.
Oh, okay.
So it's one of those things where like the book has some really interesting ideas, but then like we're like, oh, whoa, you're veering too off course. Stay the course. We have to do the Superman origin. We can't do anything interesting in this book. So it's one of those things where like if this is the first Superman origin that you read, I'm sure this would be your favorite. But the majority of the book has kind of been there, done that, and the interesting things don't matter.
So we have looked at two different, Superman origin stories, and they both have issues. What do you think is the best one? Was it be say John Burns or?
I think if you are looking for the quintessential Superman origin, definitely John Byrne. My personal favorite is Earth One JMS's, but that's not like I don't need Earth One to be the actual origin for Superman, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's my favorite, but I don't. It's not like people like Birthright. Let's make that the origin for a year. No, you don't have to make Earth One the origin, but it's my favorite. I go back and read it quite a bit. It's kind of got a Dragon Ball Z feel to it.
Who wrote that one?
Earth One was JMS.
Okay. J.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So of course I would love it.
That's the one where he walks across the earth or whatever.
Yeah. It's kind of where. So I don't know what the connection is because Earth One kind of feels like Man of Steel in a way. Um,
Hmm.
I don't know what the connection is if they were working to. I don't think they were working together on that. Like it might just be parallel thinking. Earth One is miles better though.
Hmm.
um, let's see. Secret Origin is pretty middling as well. Where the thing is is Man of Steel is like John Byrne's Man of Steel is like the perfect origin, and so like anything you do is either going to be drastically different or
You broke up
just
again. Yeah.
yeah. Oh, it's either going to be drastically different or um, just Man of Steel, but not as good. you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I would say that John Byrne's Man of Steel is the best. Earth One is my favorite. For all seasons, I actually have to eat my words on something because I always forget he wrote this. For all seasons is very good. um,
Usually, if Jeff Loeb teams up with Tim Sale, it's usually better than his other work.
yeah,
Not saying it's all great, but it is better
yeah,
usually.
yeah. But if you want the quintessential Superman origin, read John Byrne's Man of Steel with For All Seasons as a companion piece. That's what I would say.
Yeah, I know I've read a few of the volumes of Man of Steel. It's really good. So but
Uh,
it's been a long time since I've read it. So
mhm, yeah. Um, now that I've kind of explained to you Birthright, because I know that Gunn said that Birthright was a big influence on him. Does it track after what I've explained?
other than there's the scene of the kid raising the flag, maybe, and then that in Birthright.
yes.
Yeah, so I think some of that stuff is probably what maybe he's talking about. Um, but it felt like there was a lot of All Star Superman stuff in there from like the robots and
Hmm.
um, maybe a little bit how Lex was acting.
Yeah. Um,
Um,
oh, also, I forgot about another one. Uh, Despite what ends up happening with the writer Max Landis, um, I like American Alien. That's a good one. That one was 2015, so that one was. I think American Alien is. I can't remember if American Alien is the origin for New 52 or for uh, Rebirth.
yeah, I'm wondering if my library has it. My library has the weirdest selection of books. It is it is so strange. Like they have a ton of Marvel comics, but
Hmm.
it's all like American Chavez and Squirrel Girl and you know, Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel, and it's like who is picking these books? This is awful.
No, that's really funny because Cameron and I were just talking last night because we were talking about Superman and how apparently and I had no doubt because it's Nathan Fillion, but apparently his Guy Gardner is fantastic,
Oh yeah.
and like people are starting to love that character, and like the masses just are falling in love with Guy Gardner. I'm like, are we living in a world where Guy Gardner is going to be the most popular Green Lantern?
Probably. I mean,
Uh,
he is great in the movie.
yeah. But I'm
Like the whole Justice Gang is great, except for probably Hawk Girl. She's just kind of there, you know.
I've
So
heard quite a bit that like people are in love with Mr. Terrific, and that makes me happy.
Yeah, he's in the movie quite a bit. So
But I was talking to him, I was like, so we're gonna be living in a world where the most popular uh, Green Lantern is Guy Gardner. The most popular Ghost Rider is Robbie Reyes. The most popular Ant Man is Scott Lang.
yeah,
like,
yeah. What are we doing?
yeah. So your library just kind of sounds like modern pop culture, where it's like, oh yeah, we have all the Miss America and Squirrel Girl you can have, you know.
It's so strange. The X-Men section is so small, and it's like, what are, huh? And they'll have like a bunch of Spider-Man books, but it's all, not the great story. Oh, they have a bunch of Spider-Girl books or Spider-Gwen, and it's just it's just a hodgepodge of weird stuff. Then also there'll be like a random Marvel epic, like Iron Man, Iron Wars. You're like, where did this come from? Why is there a good book here? What happened?
Right.
So anyhow, that is our look at two Superman books. Next week we'll be discussing Superman movie. I have already seen it. Caleb will be seeing it later today, and we'll probably have Shipwreck in here, or wherever his name he goes by online, in here also to discuss it. Um, I'll just say I liked it. I'm not going to get into heavy spoilers today, but we will next week. Um,
Mhm.
so if you liked our show, hit the like button, hit a comment. We're trying to grow our subscriber count. Tell your friends, and until next time, I've been Final Monkey.
And I'm Caleb.
We'll catch you next time in the deep end.
See ya.